everybody and welcome to my video, Getting Tidier. I hope you're all well and having a nice Saturday. So all of my video today was recorded today. So in this video, I'll show you my kitchen as it is now, and I'll do some washing and some sorting out in the kitchen. I then also start on the cupboard in the dining room that a few people have said about. I think it's really important to clear that out because my plan is to move some of the the sort of special dishes and items from my dinner service into the cupboard. Then there's a little clip of where I let my daughter choose something at the shops, and then I show you the chairs that I mentioned in my video yesterday. So we got up quite late, and my husband did pancakes for us all, and we had them in bed, which was nice. And my daughter watched a little bit of television, and then I washed my hair and got ready for the day, and I decided to do a couple of loads of washing. It was my original plan to get some on the line, but didn't quite work out. But I just wanted to get a dark load on. There's quite a lot of things I need to wash ready for next week. So you can see it's quite sunny where I am in England, with the sun coming into the kitchen, which is lovely. Then I've got some saucepans and some work to do in the kitchen, so I needed to do that. So after I'd done that, I then did some sorting out of that cupboard I mentioned, and then we had lunch. And then after lunch, I needed to drop my husband off at this train station because he's going to London. He won a prize at an event at work, which was to go to watch a football match at Wembley Stadium. So he's going with some work colleagues and one of his old managers, which will be lovely. So he won't be back until about 1 or 2 in the morning. And then I took my daughter to dancing. It was all a bit of a rush to get her there on time, but we made it there on time. And I parked the car up and then came back to the dance studio and did a little bit of work. So I thought, well, while she's in dancing, I can just send some emails and get some bits done for my job. And then after that, we went straight over to our campsite where I'm taking my Girl Guides camping in May. So because I'm doing this licence, you know, what I said that I regretted doing, I needed to go meet somebody and just go through equipment, security, safety, cleaning products, general awareness, etc, etc. You can see in that video me just going through a bag of all different sweets. They were the sweets that we got last year at the Halloween party in Disney World, Florida. So we had great fun at the Halloween party. It was really good. But my daughter's not really that keen on sweets. So she enjoys like the fun of like getting all the sweets and like with the trick-or-treating there. But she's not really that fussed with it. So I went to the sweets to decide which really need to go in the bin. And then I put some various things in her cupboard on the left. Can you see on top of my cupboard there? My husband started putting more items up there. So he's put like an empty box where it's got one small egg that my daughter got from school. He's put that on top of the cupboards. I really hate it when he does that. I'm trying to take things off the cupboards because I don't like all the cupboards being trucked up. And he's putting stuff on top of the cupboards. Excuse me, I've still got this cough. And the interesting thing is, I was speaking to another mum, and she says that when the doctor says there's a 100-day cough and just sends you off home, actually it's another name for whooping cough. And if you get whooping cough really mildly, you don't have the whoop, but you do have the bacteria, and you can transfer it to other people. And it turns out that like loads of my daughter's friends, they've all had whooping cough. Seems to have really done the rounds, so maybe that's what we had. Who knows? So I just want to sort out my daughter's sort of biscuit, treat, snack cupboard. Got rid of some put some things into one pack because there were 2 packs opened, and just had a general sort out and clear out. So I thought I'd also film it from a slightly different angle. And then after we'd checked at the camping place and I'd signed off a number of different things in my licence book, I've said to my daughter, if we got done quick, and if she did her homework first thing this morning, and she's nearly done all of her history homework with no fuss and she just got on with it, I said that we'd go to Smith's Toy Superstore and I would treat her to something for getting such a good report at parents' evening. So I said, there's no guarantee because we might not have time, but if there is time, I'll take you. So she was extremely excited about that. So we went to Smith's Superstore and she got to choose something. So there's a couple of little clips later on in the video where you'll see that we're out and about. And a number of you kindly commented and said that you didn't feel like I was waffling on about these chairs for my house, but you actually found it really interesting to hear about some of the history. So I was saying about how these chairs that I really wanted in the house, and the next door neighbour took them, and they obviously wanted them because they thought they were valuable. I wanted them because I felt like they were part of the house and part of the history of the house, and I thought I could have them like reupholstered and make them nice. But when they realised they weren't worth anything, the man was like, "Oh, do you want those old chairs?" And I was, "Oh, yes, please." So he just passed them over to me over the hedge, over the fence, and you'll see right later on in the video what they look like when I got them, in terms of how faded the fabric was and so on, and how mice had sort of eaten part of the seats and made nests in the seats, and then how I had them reupholstered. I was really pleased with how they looked. In terms of the history of my house, it was first bought by a couple. So the man was born in 1871 and he fought in the Boer War, but he worked in banking in London until he moved to Norfolk. In 1911, he was described as a banking housekeeper. He really, really loved gardening. So I've got photographs of him standing in the garden, and I've gone to the efforts of having some of the plants and the flowers, which are in black and white. I've worked out what they are and then put them back into the garden. The front and back garden were kept immaculately. We think that he had chickens at some point, because the old shelter that we had taken down, it was literally falling to pieces, had the old chicken sort of cages, and maybe he had rabbits as well. So he got married to his wife, who had got roots from the area that they both moved to. And it seems quite incredible. The door that I opened, my front door and my back door, is the front door and the back door that they opened when the house was signed over to them in 1928. They didn't have any children together, and I know for a fact that my daughter is the first child who's actually lived in this house. But they did have children visit, because I've got pictures of little children in my back garden. The man used to smoke a pipe, and he used to walk his dog around the local roads where I live. And when I spoke to local people, I was told that they remember his wife getting off the bus with all her shopping. Also, I've got a vine with grapes, and we know that he put that in. That was there. And also the ornament in my garden was bought, I think, by the man to his wife for their wedding anniversary, which is really lovely. Just that sort of those memories. And the little dog that he used to walk around the local streets has been buried in the garden. So you could just see, just before I was then washing my hands, I was looking at the ring on my finger. So I bought a ring when my daughter was, I think she was about 1. She was very, very small. And I've worn it every single day until a couple of years ago, or maybe a year ago, when I saw one of the claws look like it was badly worn. And what we'd always said, that when she's 18, that will be her 18th birthday present from us. So I'd kept it sort of safe, because obviously I didn't want to lose the diamonds. And I had it repaired. So it's very expensive to repair, and they actually said they didn't think that they would be able to repair it because of the design, which I thought was a bit of a worry. But they originally quoted me £380 to have it repaired, which I was like in shock a little bit. I said, is there any way we could do it, do it cheaper, find a better price, etc., etc. And then when they sent it off to the workshop and came back, they said £295. And so I picked it up on Friday, picked it up yesterday. Very pleased with how it looks, and all the claws have been repaired. but I've just seen that one of the claws is slightly raised compared to the other, and also one of the claws, you can catch your clothes on it very slightly. It's quite sharp. So unfortunately, I think I'm going to have to go back to the jewellers and ask them to look at it again. I really hate that sort of thing. I just think, why can't things just be simple? I really hate it when you have those sort of problems or where things go wrong. It's like we had a couple of years ago, we had a new oven. And that started off with the timer panel. Just literally, we set the timer and the whole thing just smashed into pieces. And when I contacted the company, the man who then came out to fix it said, oh, yes, they're only held in with sticky back plastic. And I was like, right. And then one of the rings stopped working and they came out for that. And then the whole of the oven went wrong. And in the end, I phoned up the company and they said, oh, we'll send someone else out to fix it. I said, no, you can send someone out to come and take it away, because the only thing that this is good for, that was still within the warranty period. I said, the only thing that this is good for is scrap metal. I just want to take it away. So I managed to argue the case on various trade legislation. We are protected quite well in the United Kingdom, thankfully, with consumer rights. So they took it away. I think it wasn't a cheap one. I think it was like £600. I think it was about £600. So they took it away, and then we bought another one, and I think we paid around double that. But it's a really, really good quality one. I just don't think a lot of our goods, like washing machines, ovens, hoovers, are now made to last. Whereas it used to be, you'd have a washing machine for like 25 years. I think now if you buy one, you're lucky to get 10 years out of it. Don't know why it is. I've had my mother-in-law's old washing machine. Then I've had another washing machine. Then that went wrong. So I think I've had 3 new washing machines since I've been married, plus the one which was my mother-in-law's second-hand one. I just don't think things last that long. I mean, one of the reasons why one of my washing machines didn't last long was because my husband used to play rugby. And of course, that used to be covered with grit and soil. And you tried to get the worst of it off. But obviously, that was quite hard going. And then when my daughter was little, I used the reusable nappies. And again, you've got the liners and everything. So that's like, they're fairly clean when they go in. But that's like quite a lot for the washing machine to deal with, I think. Some people say that I do a lot of washing. I don't actually feel like I do that much. Probably do a couple of loads a week, and then a white load every other week. So I don't feel like it's loads. But you can see very quickly I've cleaned up. I've done all the washing. Washing up's done. Saucepans can easily be put away. I do still have a few things left out on the left-hand side. That's a few things that my dad's given me, and I'm deciding what I want to do with them. Whether I'm going to keep them, and if I keep them, where I'm going to put them. And in a minute, you'll see me start on the cupboard. So the cupboard is, so I've got a cabinet full of like things that people would probably tell me to get rid of, but they are things that I like and things that I've been bought over the years, wedding presents and things that, yeah, are really pretty. And then underneath, I've got a cupboard area which is all enclosed, which is basically full of like VHS cassettes, camcorder cassettes, loads of music that I haven't got out for absolutely ages. But then when I get it out and look at it, I think, I might play that. I might sing that music. I could probably get it online, couldn't I? That's the thing. But also, the cupboard down at the bottom is also full of photo albums, photos. There's 6 goblets there, which when my dad's grandmother passed away, she had a will and she put specific things that she wanted people to have, and she left these goblets to him. We've never ever used them. Neither of us like them, but I did say, well, how would you feel about getting rid of them? And he said he doesn't want to. So they shall go back into the cupboard. So there's a lot of books in there, and I thought, okay, what would be really good is if I create some space in my bookcase, get the books out, and then I can get all those like nice, my Wedgwood bowls and things that I want to keep but I don't use very often, and I can then get them out of the cabinet which is in my kitchen. That would make more space in the cupboards on the left there, because at the moment it is quite tricky when I want to put glasses away, when I want to put mugs away, I still have to hunt for the space. It's so strange. I want to tell you something else that we were talking about a couple of nights ago. We've lived here now since 2018. No, what am I saying? 2008. So we've lived here for quite some time. We've done a lot of work, like I've told you before, and I will put some photos up so you can have a look to some of the work that we've done. And we really love living here. It's a nice size house. It's a nice area. We're not that far away from London. We're close to some beautiful towns and cities that are very historic. We're also quite close to the coast. So we're in a really lovely location. And I would not think about moving from here because there's only the three of us. We've got 4 bedrooms and it's got enough space for us. Got a nice sized garden. But about 3 months ago, I drove past a house which is not far away from us. It's literally on the same road. And I said to my husband, if that came up for sale, I'd really like to look round that house. I'd be really interested. And then, soon after I'd said that, we got a notification to say that it had applied for planning to build a bungalow in the back garden. And I thought, oh my goodness, no. Like all the new houses not far away from where we live, they literally have no garden at all. And so they cut down all the woodlands. They dig up and destroy all the habitats for nature. And I know that we do need to build some new houses. I do understand that. But it's about where they build them. And why they don't sometimes build up as opposed to cross, because we're losing so many of our green spaces. So yeah, couldn't believe it. They put into planning to build a bungalow in this garden. I was like, this is horrendous. Now, thankfully, it got refused. The council just refused the planning application. So I just didn't think anything more about it. And then my mum sent me the details. Have you seen that house? It's for sale. I was like, oh my goodness. Me and my husband spent the whole evening talking about how we could potentially buy it. What we would sell and how we would go about buying it, etc., etc. And then said, right, in the morning we'll phone up and we'll view it. And then just before I went to bed, I looked on the website and there it said, sold, subject to contract. And we'd had all this conversation about it. But yeah, it's funny, isn't it? It makes you think because like I said, this house, we've done everything that we've done on it. It's just made it exactly as we want and as we like. And although, I'm not tidy and I want to improve things and I want to get rid of some stuff from the house and make it more spacious because I have got too much stuff. And we're happy here. Just seeing that house for sale just kind of made me think for a bit. Oh, and I didn't say also the day after we went round the house. I knocked on the door just in case anybody was living there. We were certain it was empty, but we knocked on the door just in case. And then we walked around the side and had a little look. It's bigger than ours. It's only, I think it's 4 bed. But 2 of the bedrooms are very small. But the downstairs, like the kitchen is bigger. It's got a dining room and a lounge, so the kitchen is bigger than ours. It had a playroom / music room. So I thought that would mean that our dining room would feel bigger, wouldn't it? Because I put the piano out and all the instruments out. And it's got a separate room where you could put a dishwasher or a tumble dryer. And the garden is massive. But I thought it was sold, so that's the end of that. And then I came home and looked in my own garden and thought, I'm so lucky to have this outside space. I'm so, compared to the garden that I had before, it's just lovely to have a front and back garden. And I know other people have commented about like not necessarily having a very big garden themselves, but still appreciating any outside space they have. And the house is lovely, full of character. I love 1930s houses. 1928 was built, so it's really got a 1930s feel with the fireplace and so on. So, yeah, I do really like living in this location, in this house. It's a special house. I would never want to sell it. So that was what we were talking about in terms of raising the funds to buy the other house. You'll also see just in this video, I needed to clean the top of the oven. And what I was quite surprised about was all the advertisement you see with all these different sprays. I know we talked about this before, but I decided to get some white vinegar and just soak the top of the bit with all the burnt on pieces with white vinegar. And I literally left it for about 30 seconds as I went and got a cloth to wipe it, and it all just wiped up really, really clean. You also saw me just try to clean the front of the cupboards. I bought they're actually floor wipes. I bought some wipes the other day. I don't like to use things that end up being thrown in the bin, but I bought them for a specific reason. I thought, I'm just going to use a couple of these and just wipe this gravy on one of the fronts of my cupboards. And it wouldn't clean it off. And I thought, really, we need to have some sort of, maybe I need to get a spray bottle and put the vinegar in the spray bottle. So here I am in one of the cupboards, the cupboard that I mentioned. So I like this piece of furniture. Probably I needed to move all the ornaments away to get in there properly. I've got various things there. I'd love to saw a photograph of myself when I was about 13 or 14 I think. That haircut really didn't suit me. But they're the goblets that I told you about, that my husband still wants to keep. And this is like just full of things really, that we just don't, a lot of things there that I don't need. And any thoughts on, I've got a lovely, absolutely beautiful jigsaw puzzle of this rabbit, all this lovely wildlife that's just underneath the cabinet. You can just see that by my left hand. But as we did it all together on our dining room table, and as we were doing the jigsaw puzzle, we lost one of the pieces. And I hunted high and low. That was definitely there. I hunted high and low, haven't found it. I want to give the jigsaw puzzle to the charity shop, so I kept hold of it because I wanted to find this last piece, because you can't send a jigsaw puzzle which has got one piece missing. So I've been keeping hold of it for probably 3 years to try and find a missing jigsaw puzzle piece, and I still haven't. So what do? I'm going to have to put it in the bin or keep hold of it for another 3 years. The lighting here went a little bit too bright. I was trying to shift it so it wasn't too dark, and then it went a bit too light. I do change that in a minute so you can see it a little bit better. There was a book there, a violin book that I've been keeping, and I asked my daughter if she wanted to keep it because it's too young for her, and she said no, someone else who's starting the violin can have it. So that was good. A couple of ornaments, some Planet of the Apes things that I'm not going to get rid of because they're collectible and I want them and I like them. And then piles and piles of books, music books, that people have kindly given me, and I haven't really ever used them, perhaps didn't really want them. I don't know that much about 60s music, but for some reason I kept the 60s music book, never ever played it. Some nice plant books, which I'll keep, and gardening books. But like I said, I just need to get all the books out and put them where they belong, don't they? They belong in the bookshelf. Now there's not space in the bookshelf, so that tells me that I need to sort out the bookshelf, create some more space, and then move these books into the bookshelf if I'm going to keep all these books here. Got quite a few books on 1930s homes which I like. Oh, Snows Hill Manor. If you're coming to the United Kingdom, I highly recommend you visit Snows Hill Manor. It's a National Trust property, and it's about a man who was basically a hoarder, and he collected these incredible artefacts from all around the world. He travelled in a time where, you know, many people would not have been able to have been travelling. So absolutely fascinating place. And in the end, his collections were so vast and so wide that he had to move out into like a shed outside. There was then no space for him to live in the house anymore because his collections took over the house. Absolutely incredible place. Me and my husband have been. I've not yet gone back and taken my daughter. I know she'd like it. It's just fascinating. The things that, I mean, people must have come from far and wide. I guess he was a bit of eccentric is the best word. But yeah, people must have come far and wide to see all these incredible collections. He's got things from Japan, things from Africa, things from India. Absolutely amazing. So you can see I get a little bit distracted looking at photographs. What I was actually deciding was can I get rid of some of these photographs? Can I take a photograph of the photograph and then get rid of them? Can I take a photograph of the person, send it to them, and then get rid of them? That's what I was then thinking about. We've got quite a few National Trust books. I've got a lovely book from Madeira, lovely book on Durham, but all of the books just need to come out and get put on the bookshelf. That's my plan. So I'm going to create quite a lot of space in here.